Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller.
I'm Gav.
I'm Garrison.
Today, we're going to be talking about some end-of-year predictions, college football and NFL. So, Garrison, I know you wanted to start us off with something. I think college football related, so go ahead and start off with that. We'll flow with this video. I'll put timestamps so you guys are aware.
I just want to ask, you can get to your take. Who do you have winning it all?
Notre Dame. Can we? And it sounds like a hot take.
Notre Dame.
But I think it's
that
masked.
would be good for TV money.
I think it's masked by two things. I think people overlook them because of the loss to NIU and because they're not a conference champion. Because people didn't see them play on conference championship and they don't have a bye because they weren't a conference champion.
Yeah.
And I think people overlook it. But if you look, let's look at these numbers. Fourth in scoring in all of college football and average points per game. They're great at scoring the football, right? They completely shut down the number 2 team in scoring in the nation in the quarterfinals. The ball wasn't budging. It wasn't moving. And even when it did, it was a turnover.
Absolutely.
Right? And then they're number 3 in strength of record. And the biggest part about this whole thing to me is I don't think anybody has an easier path. You're playing Georgia with no Carson Beck. And if you win that...
It's not really a loss, but...
Yeah.
Not all
their defense is what makes Georgia.
Yeah, that's the team.
But
that defense.
But Notre Dame's defense is arguably better, in my opinion.
No. Georgia's defense, their ability, what they've done against Texas twice, I think is just...
I've seen Notre Dame play some good games against Texas A&M too. And
against Texas A&M, but I definitely... What Georgia was able to do, your quarterback goes
Bama
down...
put 40 on them.
And here's the other thing.
But that was... I think that was just a Milroe first half that they've never seen with his legs. I think that was more Milroe based.
You beat Georgia, you're going to play Boise State or Penn State. Boise State,
Penn State.
I think I think it's going to be Penn State. And I don't trust James Franklin in a big game like that, to be completely honest with you. I love Notre Dame's defense. And this is what I think. This Notre Dame team reminds me a lot of Michigan's team from last year. Let me tell you why. I think they've got the superstar running back in Jeremiah Love, who I love.
Awesome.
Explosive.
Yeah, he's really good.
He's really, really good. Very underlooked. I think they have a quarterback who's played great all year, and he's scored a lot of points. He's managed the game great, but everyone criticizes passing, just like J.J. McCarthy when he was going into Bama last year. And I think they have a great defense that gets after the quarterback. I think this team mimics a lot of what that Michigan team was last year. And that's why I don't think Oregon's going to get there, because I think Ohio State's playing some great football right now. But I think if they do, I think there's a team to beat Ohio State. I think it's Notre Dame.
Yeah,
because they mimic that,
I agree with that.
Michigan team.
And
from
that's
last year,
where, and I don't hate that take, but that's where I think fans. Once again, we just talked about it in the NBA, but fan bases in general in sports in this day and age, we want instant gratification. We want instant, especially in these big time organizations. You could go NBA, you could go NFL. Some fan bases do not accept any form of losing.
Yeah.
And I have Ohio State winning the national championship this
because
year.
of the pressure.
No, I have Ohio State winning the national championship because I think, other than Oregon, I think they're definitely the best roster, and I just love Ohio State's team. I think they're going to bounce back. I think they've been good all year. I think, they lost to Michigan. Other than Michigan, they are a 1 second, you get down and call a timeout away from beating Oregon or going to overtime with Oregon.
Yeah.
So when you look at, the Michigan loss is bad. I'll say the Michigan loss is bad. But it's rivalry week, crazy. You know how that is in college football.
Yeah.
Nothing crazier happens during, you have the Auburn, Alabama. there's just so many rivalries that crazy things happen. So if you scratch rivalry, not scratch it, but other than that week, you're criticizing Ohio State and they have a loss to the number 1 team in the country who they lost, but they literally were in field goal range. They just didn't get down to call a timeout. I would love to see how that game would have played out.
I think they won that because of the coach, though. And
I think Oregon, I just don't know how I feel about them not playing for so long, and Ohio State's in a groove. And that's okay. I think Oregon's a better team, but I think this is affecting teams that have, because Oregon started off the season, you and me both had questions. They didn't look good at the beginning of the season, but they found a rhythm and they figured it out.
Yeah.
Who knows if they got out of that? Now, I'm not saying that they can't, because they've already done it, but I'm going to pick Ohio State to beat them. And then from there, I don't know who, other than maybe Texas.
They play Texas.
Texas maybe, but from there, it's we beat Oregon. That. There's no more sense of motivation than that. While you have Texas, I'm not going to say they're not going to get confidence, but your 2 big games, Yeah. Against Georgia, you've lost. You failed in your big test.
Absolutely.
So the confidence from Ohio State after beating Oregon, I can only imagine they're probably thinking they could beat anyone in the country.
Yeah.
With their weapons on the outside.
Absolutely.
Their running game.
Yeah.
It really comes down to quarterback play. And other than Oregon, I don't know what quarterback I think is really going to outduel in this college football playoff.
If Texas pulls that trigger, pull that trigger, please.
Yeah.
Put that man in the game. It's not hard to see. If Texas does make that move,
they win it.
I say they win it.
Yeah.
I say they win it, and
you got to do it early though.
And this is what I will say. Did you have anything else to say first?
Yeah, I'm not worried about Oregon being rusty. And me and my buddy Jack O'Malley were talking about this the other day. They have the best football coach in college football.
All right,
in my opinion. They beat Ohio State because that coach won the last.
I don't think that's the best. I don't think you can call him the best.
Okay, so let me get it right there.
Call him better
Okay,
than
first
Kirby.
off,
Hold on. He's not better than Kirby Smart. Let's clear that. He's not a better coach than Kirby Smart. I don't think he is.
okay, you can have that. You can have that for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, but so first off, I definitely see Notre Dame making it before I do Ohio State, and this is why. So as far I'm obviously not as educated on college football as I am the NFL, but what I do know is important is coach and quarterback. And when Oregon plays Ohio State, they have a better coach, a better quarterback, and you could argue a better roster.
And that kind of goes against my theory because you know how I am about it. I just picked a better quarterback. Yeah. So I think that if that's any reason for me, I would pick Oregon to win it all because I don't see who's better other than maybe Art. Yeah. I don't see anyone better than Dylan Gabriel in this college football playoff. I'm not high on the quarterback playing college football.
I'm not high on Dylan Gabriel.
I'm not high on him either.
But you would be a fool to not admit that he has been playing the best football out of any quarterback in this entire playoff.
Yeah, it's clean, efficient football.
My point. And Ohio State has somehow, in my opinion, became extremely overrated because of their quarterback. Their quarterback is literally the definition of hit or miss. I've seen this guy throw up all over. In the Michigan game, he looked atrocious. And there's
then
moments,
against Oregon, he looked good.
But there's moments where even Ryan Day doesn't trust that guy, and maybe it's just the Michigan mental block.
I wonder, and we'll never know if it's Ryan Day or if it's Chip Kelly. And I think it's
Ryan Day.
And I think Ryan Day was trying to, in the Michigan game, out tough Michigan because they have this notion that they're not tough. Bro, forget the toughness. Like, you have Jeremiah Smith, you have all these weapons on the outside. Yeah. And you didn't even throw to them. Like, and they need to take advantage of their advantage is on the outside. Yeah. Not that they don't have an advantage in their running back, because the running back game is good, but you have a lot of advantages outside.
So with Oregon too, this is gonna sound weird, and obviously I'm supposed to be a little bit smarter than this.
Yeah.
But it's really like I've never felt better vibes from a team than Oregon this year. Because it's like you said, Dan Lanning might not be a better coach than Kirby Smart, but right now the vibes are saying that Dan Lanning is the best coach in college football.
Bro, they changed the rule because of something he did to win a game.
Yeah, like let's be real. I think we can throw this around.
You got to respect what Kirby Smart has done what he's doing with not great quarterback play and able to come out and beat teams like Texas because of his defense, because he's a defensive coach.
But I think college football is in a weird situation where there can be better coaches in certain seasons, even if the guy does have a better resume.
And not even that. I think, and this does not take away from Dan Lanning, but we see the reason Oregon is number one team in the country isn't just coach. It's also, and this is not to take away from Dan Lanning, because you still have to recruit the kids. The kids still have to want to come. Yeah. But it is interesting how Oregon is not a blue blood in a sense of college football. And NIL starts, you could pay people, and now it's unlimited pretty much. Because they become number one.
And they dominate California recruiting.
Exactly. They instantly become number one because they have an unlimited budget.
Absolutely.
Phil Knight.
Which is why Texas has become... Why do you think the three best programs of the last couple of years have been Oregon, Texas, and Georgia? Georgia is recruiting kids from Georgia, who are the best football state, in my opinion. You got... Or Texas. Yeah. And then you got Oregon, who is dominating California recruiting. The three best football states are the best three college programs.
And you see people, DeBanza 10 years ago would not go to BYU. He's going to a blue blood. 10 years ago, he's going to a blue blood.
Yeah.
He's not going to Bama, because Bama in basketball all of a sudden.
is good.
Maryland all of a sudden in one of these sports is going to start being really good because of their money.
Absolutely.
You just think about these schools with money, they're just going to start being good the moment they decide to start paying.
I also think we're forgetting. I think Ohio State played great against a Tennessee defense that was a little bit in shambles at times, and we again we overrate them.
Wait, that Tennessee defense.
That Tennessee offense is the worst. Is one of the worst.
I was about to say, that up front of Tennessee is elite.
Yeah,
but offensively, Tennessee might have been a bottom 3 team in the SEC this year.
No, I 100% agree. But you also got to remember the fact that Dylan Gabriel does not know what losing a game in the green and gold feels like.
That's very true.
They have many players that don't know what losing a game is.
I watched Dylan Gabriel and
okay.
I'm not even gonna lie.
They're undefeated. You just
but dude, he's not playing no regular football.
He's playing great. He's playing great football.
And that's what.
And he wasn't at the beginning.
That's why I do have to go with Oregon as my winners, because they haven't figured out a little bit more than these other teams, and these teams just have too many questions for me.
There's just so much speed on Oregon.
It's too.
Their speed on that team
is ridiculous, and defensively, it's not just on the offensive side. The defense flies around and makes hits too.
I just look at matchups like you said, coach and quarterback. I think you win the coaching battle versus Ohio State.
Yeah.
I think Dan Lanning is 100% better than Ryan Day, and I also think that your quarterback in Gabriel is better than Will Howard.
Yeah,
and I don't think it's even close on both.
Yeah,
and that's what scares me.
But they played really close last time, so I don't think it's a cakewalk game for either team.
Oh, it's going to be a close game.
It's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the end, and
that's why I trust Dan Lanning.
Once again, even Dan Lanning could have been taken, and I'm saying it's possible for Ohio State to win.
Yeah,
you got the push off with Jeremiah Smith. Some refs might not have called that at the end of the game.
Very true.
That puts so there's so many things that Oregon didn't just walk over Ohio State, and Oregon makes they don't make a lot of little plays.
Yeah,
because you see the Ohio State game, they miss a PAT attempt.
Yeah,
I think they go for 2, don't get it, or they missed a field goal, they missed a PAT, that's 4 points. They could have made it to where Ohio State had to get a touchdown to win it. There's a lot of little stuff that I feel like really well coached and disciplined teams don't make those mistakes, and sometimes Oregon does, and I feel like they haven't been exposed to it yet. They might not, because they're so talented and they're so fast, and they got a good quarterback, and they still do have a great coach. But I would love to see what I could see Oregon's defense offense just getting shut down if they played a Kirby Smart.
I do feel like we're in an era in college football right now to where it's kind of like the after Saban era. So we're talking about we don't really know what the formula for success is other than paying up.
Yeah.
Honestly, so
and that might just be what it is.
And that might be what it is, and that's why I'll just throw this out here since I think we're kind of done talking about that college football playoff.
I got one more thing to say.
All right, well, let me.
Okay.
Well, actually, say that first.
I just want to say my dark horse to win it all, and I'm looking at path, is Penn State, and I was not high on Penn State at all. But when they lost to Oregon, but they played them very well. It showed me that they could play in a shootout, and I never thought that this Penn State team could do that. I thought they were just defense, and the way they went toe-to-toe with Oregon, once again, they lost. But that game showed me a lot about that team in a sense of, I think this is why I don't have Georgia winning it all, is because I think you have to win 3 games to win it all, 4 if you were in that first round, but 3 games to win it all. I think one of the games you got to win has to be a shootout. I don't think you can win 3 games and both teams score less than 20. Could be wrong, but I think you got to win a shootout. Yeah. And I don't think Georgia can win a shootout, and that's why I don't.
I did tell you this before the playoffs. They were my team that I thought, wow, they could actually make.
They're my dark horse.
They're my second team. They're not even my dark horse. They're my second favorite. After Oregon, they are my second favorite because, yes, people realize, okay, their quarterback isn't the greatest. He's probably in the middle of the teams that are remaining right now. But they definitely have a top 3 skill player remaining in the college football playoff in Tyler Warren. 2 great backs. Receiver, they're not the best, but they make do because of Tyler Warren. And that defense is great. And like you said, they played Oregon extremely. They played Oregon and Ohio State.
I think they got number 1 tight end in the country.
And it's going to be hard to beat Penn State twice if Oregon or Ohio State makes it.
But can we talk about what you just talked about, path? So I think there's an issue with the format. I think the fact that Oregon, Texas, and Ohio State on one side of the bracket is ridiculous. I think it should be more like basketball. Don't get me wrong. I believe 5 conference champions should be in. Yeah. But they should be in. Let's not give them the bye. Yeah. But they should be in.
Why do you get a bye for winning the Mountain East?
Exactly.
I honestly think, bro, I think college football, and honestly, I love football as a sport. It's one of my favorite sports, but as a league, it definitely hasn't lived up to even college basketball or NFL or NBA because college football lacks structure. From top to bottom, it lacks structure. The SEC is king. Big Ten is right there, And then it just goes down. Why is that the format?
In the Patriot League.
And honestly, it's a broken structure. It's a broken, like, so the only way to fix that is, in my opinion, you got to randomize these schedules, eliminate conferences, and that's the only way.
There's too much money with the conferences.
But there's too much money involved. I don't think college football, honestly, based on just the college football is carried by the environments it creates. College football is not carried by the lore that the actual football brings. It is literally, when you go to Ohio State or you go to Georgia, that game is going to be lit. That LSU game is going to be lit. There's no other sporting event in America like it. That's why these games
and there's
are
pride
so
behind
prevalent.
it. There's so much
There's
pride.
pride behind it too, because these all of these people are going to these schools.
And there's more of these great games now too because of the way the conferences aren't set up by location anymore. They're set up by, okay, who's going to bring in the most money? Who's going to bring in the most money?
It's not the Atlantic Coast anymore.
SMU.
Like,
Southern Methodist, that's in Texas, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So like what? And that's
Nebraska.
The thing. And how do you tell the committee you were wrong about putting SMU in the playoffs? They weren't wrong. They were just dealt a bad hand because, like I said, the structures are just completely messed.
Yeah.
You're gonna say they're wrong. Okay, we could have put Bama or South Carolina.
No.
Like, yes, I would have put South Carolina in if I had my perfect world. But why are you gonna tell me that they were wrong for putting SMU in? Like, you can't justify that.
No,
can we go to the NFL now?
Especially after the year of Florida State.
Can we go to the NFL
No,
now?
but also,
We could. Yeah.
if the quarterback for SMU doesn't turn the ball over
All
three
right.
times
No,
in
we
the
don't-
first
no,
half
they
of the
don't care
game,
about
I
that
do
game.
agree with that. That was
All right.
that was horrendous.
He
He
was
was the
killing
worst. He was horrible.
All right.
Penn State wasn't scoring. It was their defense.
Yeah.
All right. The Bengals are going to make the conference championship. They're gonna make
Okay.
They're
But-
gonna make the AFC championship.
First off, I would like to say, okay, so I'll
The
go
Bengals
along-
are gonna make the AFC championship. Let me tell you how. If Carson Wentz can win that game,
if though. We're
If
talking
he-
about ifs with this team, bro.
if no, I'm talking about with
They're
the
not
Chiefs.
going into Arrowhead. They're gonna have to go into Arrowhead.
No, they don't. They got to go to the Bills.
No, they're gonna have to go into Arrowhead after that. They're gonna have a
Oh, they
7
do.
seed.
They do.
Yes.
I thought it was okay. Never
Okay,
mind.
so
No,
first off,
lowest
yeah,
seed
Alright,
goes.
I
Lowest seed
think
goes.
they could mess around. My point is,
they could. They definitely could.
No.
But they're dealt a bad hand. They're probably not gonna make the playoffs. First off,
Yeah.
what I'll say.
but
And
they
that-
have to.
no, let me
Okay.
finish your
Okay.
thought. Let me finish your thought for you because I know where you were going with it.
Okay.
The Bills. Let's talk about the Bills.
Let's talk about them.
talk about the Bills. I've been waiting to talk about the Buffalo Bills for 4 weeks.
Let's get it.
The most overrated team
Yes.
I have seen in the past 10 years.
And it's because they beat the Chiefs.
It is because they beat the Chiefs.
It is the only reason why.
The Chiefs right now are literally
The best.
the best team we have ever seen in the history of the league.
It's not even close.
It's not close.
Why? I never thought that we grade. Like, I never thought, okay, people actually would rather you lose like 5 games, but you like win half of them in like blowout fashion. You put up 40
Exactly.
points rather than just winning all of them.
They are 15-1 with a chance to go 16-1. That's the most wins in any NFL season ever.
The only team that's ever done that better is the undefeated Brady team who didn't get it done. So I never seen a back-to-back. They're coming off back-to-back championships. Their defense, other than last year, is better than second best defense ever in the Mahomes era.
And did y'all watch
You get-
Mahomes play?
You get Hollywood Brown back.
Oh my gosh.
Worthy is going to. We said this. He's only going to get better every single game. He's only going to get better. You get Pacheco and Kareem Hunt. Now you have a committee backfield for the playoffs.
Absolutely.
Kelsey, it's almost like he wasn't great in the regular season. He's going to be like Gronk was in Tampa.
Yeah.
He's going to be elite in the playoffs.
Yeah.
We know he is. You have these weapons that people don't even talk
People forget about because they literally look like they're just trying. They're really
Watson,
trying stuff.
D-Hop. Their interior line is elite. You have
And now they're figuring out that they have gone against T.J. Watt, Daniil Hunter, Will Anderson. What else hard game did they play? I don't know. They went against some good pass rushers, and they haven't allowed a lot of sacks. Garrison, what were you about to say?
They play Browns.
Myles Garrett. That's what I was going to say.
I completely agree with you. I think the Chiefs will win it if they have Chris Jones. I think
Yeah.
that is the biggest piece
And they
because
will.
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't think the Netflix special of the Pittsburgh Steelers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, I don't think that was. Don't get me wrong, Chiefs played great. I thought a lot of it was mainly the Steelers playing. How many free takeaways did the Steelers miss? And how many times are we going to turn the ball over in the red zone over the past 3 weeks before us? And here's my thing. Is even though we got
not
curb
about
stomped,
Steelers.
we got curb stomped by the Chiefs. We still ran all over them without.
That's,
You know what I mean? That's where I see a team like the Bills. If they don't have Chris Jones to get to Josh Allen,
no sir,
and they can
The Bills are not. Listen,
they're not going into Harold.
They're not going into Arrowhead.
And let me describe. Let me give it to you like this. Gav, hold on. Josh Allen, I have nothing to say about Josh Allen. Nothing. Literally
MVP.
Nothing to say.
No, he's not the MVP.
Okay, well, actually, since you brought that up,
It's Lamar. It's not. His numbers are just better.
Listen.
If it's not Mahomes, it's Lamar.
It's not Lamar either. It's Saquon Barkley. We can get to that. But either it's Lamar or Saquon Barkley. It's not Josh Allen. But I do love Josh Allen. I'm not diminishing his talent. I think Josh Allen.
You're gonna rest him, though, right?
Josh Allen is the second best quarterback in the league, I would say, in my opinion. But and they're not gonna lose because of him.
Joe Burrow.
I'm not mad at that take, but the Bills are just. It feels like they're cursed more than ever this year. I just get horrible vibes from them, and it's not really a thing to where I see. But defensively, obviously, they've been giving up 40 points a game. They went down 14-0 to the Patriots this past week. The Bills are just not. I don't see how you can look at this team and what they've been
They lose to the Rams
with not a number one weapon. How could you look at this team and say they're going to go into Arrowhead and not even go into Arrowhead? Have Baltimore coming to their house and they're going to win both of those games? Hell no.
We busted them earlier in the season. Not saying we're going to do it again, but I'm not as high. Once again, I'm just like you. I'm not as high in the Bills as people say they are. They get smacked by the Ravens. They get absolutely smacked, and the Ravens defense was not good.
Absolutely.
The Ravens defense was not good. You struggle against New England. You struggled. Josh Allen, you struggled. You lose to the Rams, who's a scary team, but the Rams start off 1-4. They're not like.
And based on path right now, it's going to be crazy. Garrison, you're going to love this. The Bills are not going to make it because they're going to have to play Ravens and Chiefs. It's just not happening. The Ravens are going to have to probably play the Chargers or the Steelers, and that path is going to be hard if they want to get all the way there. Not saying they can't beat those teams, obviously, because they can. And they can beat the Chiefs.
Both those teams.
Hopefully y'all draw the Broncos.
Yeah.
But the team that I think, other than the Chiefs in that conference, because I agree, I don't think the Chiefs are I don't think the Chiefs are unbeatable. I think they're a great team, but I don't think they're quite unbeatable. I think the team that could beat the Chiefs in the AFC is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Why?
The team that just lost to them.
Why?
This is how I'll throw it out there.
Please.
If they win one game as a 5 seed against the Houston Texans, which is very possible, CJ Stroud, I watched them on Christmas Day.
They probably will beat the Texans.
Oh my goodness gracious, it was horrible. He's in a slump, and I think he'll be back. I don't doubt CJ Stroud.
Yeah. Get him.
They're the only team that I think can go into Arrowhead and win a football game. Why? I don't know.
I honestly
either. Don't know.
So if they end the season out losing the last 4 games, it doesn't give you 2020 Steelers vibes?
No.
Why?
No,
that doesn't mean anything. You lose 4 of your last 4 games. You lose the last 4 games of the season.
Do you see who they lost against though?
Yeah, our schedule.
So you play good teams and you lose.
No.
You played good teams.
They beat y'all. They beat the Ravens.
And then we smacked them. And
no,
we lost.
you didn't. It was 17-17.
And it wouldn't have even been that way if we didn't turn the ball over the rest of the game.
Not even that. I don't know. Like losing 4 of your last 4 games has to mean something.
No, let's watch
going into the playoffs.
Let's watch them lose before we overreact like this. Let's watch them lose to the Bengals because once again, I love the Bengals too. I love Joe Burrow just as much as you do, but stop giving them so much credit, bro. Like they gotta actually win these games first. Secondly, let me say this about the Steelers. They have lost to the best team, like I said, the best dynasty in any NFL history, the most talented team in football, and the Baltimore Ravens, who are probably the second most talented team in football. Yeah. So let's relax with the Pittsburgh Steelers, okay? They're going to be all right because they have a great coach, and they have Russell Wilson, who's been there. It's not like them because who the hell was Ben Roethlisberger, who was throwing the who?
Who's been there?
Who was a horrible quarterback at that time. Mike Tomlin has gotten horrible rosters and horrible offensive talent to these moments.
Amen.
Josh Allen is not going into Arrowhead with Sean McDermott and that defense, and really not the greatest number one, not the greatest talent around him, even though he does have a lot of great pieces. He's not winning those games after he has to play Baltimore, after maybe he does play Cincinnati. right? He's not winning those matchups. Baltimore, like I said, they're going to have a path. The Steelers are the only team that I can think of who's going to take down Kansas City.
I'm not going to lie. I think a team that I would take over Pittsburgh, and I really like them. I don't take them over Pittsburgh. I take them over Pittsburgh to beat the Kansas City Chiefs because it's hard to beat a team 3 times.
Chargers.
The Chargers.
Yeah.
They have the coach.
Yeah.
They have the quarterback.
Yeah.
You have a good running game. You just need your weapons to step up that game.
And they won't.
Yeah, they probably won't. They won't. But in a sense, it's. I just trust them more than I think he's a better coach than Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
In my opinion, I really love Jim Harbaugh. Nothing against Mike Tomlin. I like Mike Tomlin. He's never had a losing season. But I would take the Chargers to go in Arrowhead. And also, even though history doesn't say this, but once again, even though history doesn't say that, history don't say that the Steelers never even been there before. So I guess they have that on their side, that they don't have a curse. But I still think, and I've said this from the beginning of the year, if this isn't fraudulent the past recent weeks and the Ravens actually did fix their defense, then I think they're a team that I think could go in Arrowhead and sneak a game simply because of just the superpower with Derrick Henry. I think last year I got mad when they didn't run the ball. I think with Derrick Henry, you don't have a choice.
Yeah.
You don't have a choice but to not, and I feel like we've lost some of the games because we didn't run as much. And once again, the 2 things that I hope are just we're getting hot and it's not a curse is Justin Tucker all of a sudden past 2 weeks has looked really good.
Yeah.
Which is, that's the reason we lost. No offense. I'm not taking away from y'all's win, but we lost. I'm not saying I'm gonna give the Eagles their win. The Eagles outplayed us and they beat us.
Yeah.
But we definitely make our kid. If Justin Tucker is regular Justin Tucker,
I agree with that.
There's a lot of losses that you could put on Justin Tucker for this year.
I have faith
We
in
beat
Justin
y'all
Tucker.
without scoring a touchdown.
What is that?
Bro,
what does that mean?
Honestly, look.
We didn't make field goals with the GOAT kicker.
Bro, I'm going to be real with you. The Ravens, I have faith in Justin Tucker to come back and do what he does.
Yes, Justin Tucker.
I have faith in the defense to come out, and with that defensive culture, I can see them being great in the playoffs. Guess what I doubt with the Ravens? Lamar Jackson. And this is what I will say. Lamar Jackson has the opportunity to do something extremely special once again this year. That team is great. Baltimore can do whatever they want to do this year. It's not any different.
Bro,
Lamar, is he gonna execute? Because this year against the Chiefs, and I think he took a big step against the Chiefs this year because he played good.
He played good.
He didn't finish.
He didn't finish that last
Let's see if he can finish because, all right, so we all have the Chiefs winning right now, right?
Yes.
Or Chiefs winning that conference.
Yes.
The team that I would take once again is the Steelers, if anyone else did win. But I would want to take the Ravens if I didn't have year after year after year after year of proof that Lamar can't get it done. Once again, I hope he does, and I think he can. But I'm going with the Steelers. I want to know who y'all team after Kansas City is because Kansas City is an interesting take.
So is it just that conference or the whole league?
The whole conference.
Before we get to that, can I
say something?
The whole league or the whole conference?
Hold on.
Back to the whole thing you said about Joe Burrow making things interesting as a 7 seed. I don't even think it's going to be the Bengals. Because I've read the script, and I don't think it's going to be the Broncos. I don't think it's going to be the Bengals. I think the Bengals are going to go in. They're going to beat the Broncos this week, and the hopes are going to be high. They're going to get stopped by the Steelers in the last week of the season.
That's a great take.
And then, when that happens, Broncos going to lose to the Chiefs because I just don't think, regardless of if Carson wins, I just don't see Andy Reid losing that game. And then the Dolphins are going to play the best. They're playing hot right now. They're playing great regular season football. Wait.
Who did they play the last 2 games?
I can't remember. I remember looking at it. It wasn't crazy.
Gavin, look that up.
I'm going to just let you know if they play a good quarterback, they lose.
But they're going to win the next 2 games. They're going to look great going out of the regular season. This is the hottest team in football. They're going to go up in the cold to Buffalo.
Jets and Browns.
Yeah, Jets and Browns. They're going to go up to Buffalo.
They're losing one of those.
No, they're not. But they're going to go up north, first round of the playoffs, and guess what they're going to do? They're going to fit the narrative and get curb stomped by Buffalo.
Okay, that's definitely that's definitely a take of all time. But you just literally that's just an immature take because just stick with the Bengals, bro. Just stick with the Bengals.
Yeah, why would you not trust?
And I trust the Colts more than the Dolphins.
So this team you just played, Pittsburgh Steelers, right? They're going. You don't think they can beat the Bengals in the last week?
Bro,
I can't. I do.
I'm not gonna lie.
They're gonna lose 4 straight.
Money, chips in the table. Now I could see I'm not gonna lie. I think the Bengals would lose the Broncos game before they lose the Steelers game, because I think if you give Joe Burrow a one game you win this, you make the playoffs.
I love that take.
I take them. Now, if they lose this week, then it's like, we came on short this year. But if you give me that one game,
all this,
I'm taking that over to beating Georgia next week.
All this nonsense that we're talking about was ended by the Steelers losing Wednesday, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
If the Chiefs lost, then they would have had to play for something that last week. That's not happening now. Denver's going to win that game. It doesn't matter.
You think
Sean Payton isn't losing 2 straight? And Sean Payton, why are we so confident that the Broncos are going to lose this week?
Nah, I'm not either. I think this would be the week that the Bengals lose.
That's what I'm saying. Hypothetically, if the Bengals win.
And I think, once again...
I want to see Joe Burrow in the playoffs.
I'm not saying Mahomes isn't the reason, because he literally is, because people want to hate on Mahomes' numbers, and then they want to talk about how Josh Allen and Lamar are having better seasons than they are statistically. But Lamar and Josh Allen would not be 15-1 with this team.
No.
They wouldn't.
No. I mean, literally, Mahomes makes... I don't even want to talk about Mahomes anymore, because I feel like the discourse has just gotten completely out of hand.
He's the greatest football player I've ever watched.
He's only like you said, he's only the greatest of all time. He only he just doesn't play bad. That's all it is. Like just leave it at that.
I think I figured out the way to beat Mahomes. You have to kill him in the non-clutch. Because if it comes down to clutch, there is no and, if, or but about it. And that's what the Bills did. They beat them up in the non-clutch part.
Exactly.
And you see Mahomes just march down the field when it came crunch time, and obviously it wasn't enough. But come Arrowhead, you have to come through Arrowhead.
The Bills losing that game to the Rams, honestly, that was one of the most devastating losses of the year for me. Because, yes, I hate Kansas City Chiefs, and I do want to see them go down just like all the rest of you. But that loss just gave them the one. Here you go, Kansas City.
Other than me being a Ravens fan, I'm not going to lie, this is a weird thing for me. I'm rooting for it. I love Mahomes, though. It gives me like how I liked Curry.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So it's not like the Brady or the...
I don't hate Kansas City like I hate the Cowboys.
So, like, if the Eagles were in the Super Bowl, you wouldn't be cheering for the Chiefs to three-peat? No? You wouldn't?
What?
Like, you wouldn't want that... If the Chiefs were in the Super Bowl, I would love to see that. Something
the Eagles against the... Are you drunk? No,
I said if the Eagles were not in the Super Bowl.
No, I wouldn't root for the Chiefs.
But
so if the Eagles played, especially a team that lost...
It's a very likable team.
It's a very likable
team. You would cheer for the Lions?
I would cheer for the Lions. I would cheer for the Packers. I would cheer for the Vikings. I would cheer for anybody else.
Finally, have a...
Don't even care about that.
Shot,
the same thing's going to happen.
I'll be proud. Yeah, I'll be proud of D-Hop when he wins that.
They get Kadarius Toney. Scored a touchdown in the Super Bowl.
All right, let's move on to the NFC.
D-Hop's going to score a very key touchdown in the Super Bowl, and the Chiefs are going to.
We've talked about this whole time, this huge conversation. It's the Chiefs. Like, we all agree. Like, it's the Chiefs
right now in the AFC. Yeah. Let's move on to the NFC. Who do we have winning? Don't even want to ask that yet. Actually, I changed my mind. I want to ask a better question.
Ask it to me.
Who is the best quarterback in the NFC?
Matthew Stafford.
And that's my pick. I have the Rams winning the NFC.
Wow. They're not consistent enough for me.
What do you mean? They played great football the last 8 weeks.
What do you mean? What do I mean? Look at their record. They're not consistent.
Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC. Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in the NFC. But I'm gonna let you. Let's explain. Do you know what their path is? I can illustrate their path for you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
they're not.
They're gonna have to play either Minnesota or Green Bay.
I like their odds against Minnesota.
Me too. They're probably going to play Green Bay.
But Green Bay's, Green Bay's my 2. I think Green Bay's got a really good shot.
Green Bay is putting belt 2. And if they do win that game,
they're coming to Philly. We had Jordan Love winning the MVP. That's crazy.
The Rams aren't beating Philly. I'm sorry. It is too much of a talent differential there. As far as Matthew Stafford, at this point, is a great quarterback, but he does have to be strongly protected, and he really doesn't have a mobile bone in his body, and he has regressed. I don't think people have watched it, but he has definitely regressed. And okay, so go ahead. So is the Rams your favorite?
The Rams are my favorite, and I just think they're the most. And again, I think if you look at talent-wise, no one can argue. I think it's the Eagles, in my opinion. I think it's the Eagles in the NFC.
So what drives
my issue is I have to see them not fall apart in the playoffs. And that literally, it's just off odds. It's just off odds. I have to see them not
Yeah.
fall. And I hate to say that to you because I know you
I
love.
know, and I love that you said that. So, Gavin, I want you to. Who's your favorite in the NFC?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Eagles, and I'm hoping I don't regret this because of sort of the same thing. I definitely do see a world where we're just like, and it's literally y'all have the roster. It would be the blame game. You would all of a sudden hate a specific individual. It would be a coach. It would be a specific player. It would be a coordinator. I don't know what it would be, but I could just see somehow y'all losing, and I don't even know who y'all lose to because I have y'all literally the favorite, and I don't really have a close second.
So what evidence has been built up other than last year for y'all to think that way?
I just think I just don't love your coach. I just don't love him. It's personnel. Nothing.
He was in a Super Bowl the year before that. So
he went to a Super Bowl.
I'm in the same boat as him. I don't like your coach, one. And two, I think you have a lot.
I love the Eagles.
A lot of egos.
I'm just not gonna.
Okay. And we were talking about this in our group chat the other day. I completely agree that they're the most talented team in the league. I don't like that there is something in the media about them every week. And it's not even. It's
whether it's their fault or
it's
not.
always off the field. It's not even.
It's not even that it's their fault or not.
It's just there's always something.
This toll but it's not even that. It's nothing against the Eagles. It's like I'm not. Even though I have the Chiefs coming out, I'm not just gonna stamp them.
Yeah.
Like kind I am, but so it's not nothing against the Eagles. I just think the Eagles. They deserve to be the favorites. They deserve to be the favorites by far. They don't deserve to be stamped automatic Super Bowl. It's nothing against them. I have them going to the Super Bowl.
And I love how we have suddenly stopped talking about Detroit. Because all Detroit,
injuries.
All Detroit has to do is win 2 more games and bump injuries. They're still a top 3 contender for me in that conference.
No, they're top 3 contender. But the thing that separates them is like the Hutchinson. It's just the defensive. It's the defensive losses and the fact that their coach has shown to stop trusting their defense.
Yeah.
And that's all it was for me. I had the Lions win the Super Bowl before the year started. You know that. I think if they had Hutchinson and all their guys right now, I would have them winning. And Montgomery. I would have them beating the Eagles, especially if it's in Detroit.
Absolutely.
If it's in Detroit. So, but now, even if it's in Detroit, I just don't. The roster, if you... Unhealthy versus the healthy Eagles, the roster is completely like, what position do the Lions win at?
Yeah.
Because if you don't win at quarterback, you don't win at receiver, you don't win at running back, you don't win at line, you don't win at defense, where do you win?
Wait, who, Philly?
No. Where do the Lions win?
Oh, yeah. I don't. Yeah.
So, now, you could, if they were healthy, you could be like, okay, they got the best pass rusher.
Yeah.
And then you could say, like, they have the best... Like, not a better backfield, but 2 running backs could play better than Barkley.
Yeah.
But they don't. So there's just a lot of injuries that...
But they're going to be playing Minnesota or the Commanders.
I really want to see... We talk about Purdy, but I would love to see... Does Sam Darnold, even though he's done so good, is his contract based off just what he does in the playoffs?
I would much rather have Sam Darnold than Brock Purdy. Just saying, but I don't completely trust Sam Darnold.
Like, what does he have to do?
Win 2.
Okay.
Win 2 playoff games. But, okay. Eagles are my favorite, obviously.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna attack you guys for a little bit. Okay?
Go ahead.
And I'm going to attack everybody right here. This made up narrative that why are they in the media every week? So the only thing that I can think of about the Eagles being in the media every week is Nick Sirianni shaving his head at the beginning of the year and AJ Brown talking about we need to improve on passing. Okay? Jalen Hurts is the best quarterback in that conference. I'm sorry to say it. I don't know why I strongly don't believe why we don't see this at this point. But Jalen Hurts, forget about being a passer. He is too talented as a quarterback, and he has beat Lamar Jackson. He has beat Josh Allen. He has beat Patrick Mahomes. There's no mental block in this guy's head. This guy
Wait. What? You talking about just regular season?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In a regular season. That counts, though, right?
I mean, yeah, but I could say the same thing about other quarterbacks, probably.
No, you can't.
Stafford hasn't beat all them, like, in a regular season in his career.
I don't know. I don't know.
Stafford,
I don't know.
But Stafford is the guy that I would put, the only other guy that I would put on that tier.
That's the only other guy. Yeah.
So why are we but why are we not talking about the Eagles as locks? Because of culture, right? Is that because of coach?
It's not even just that. Like, I think y'all's, and I've told you this. I think, yeah, this is last year, and I told you this last year when y'all were struggling. I don't remember how y'all finished the season, but it wasn't good. The regular season.
It was because our defense was atrocious, and our defense is now what, first in the league?
I'm not saying it wasn't because of the defense, but I also think I remember telling you this. Y'all got away from y'all's superpower, which, no offense to Jalen Hurts, but y'all's superpower is y'all can't be stopped in the run game.
Who has stopped us in the run game this year?
Nobody.
No one, but that's what he's saying.
We'll get away from that? But we're not talking. But we gotta actually give evidence, because this is gonna be.
Because if you want to do that, then we're stamping the Chiefs.
I think it's gonna be the same thing.
The Chiefs are stamped in that conference, in my opinion.
Okay.
But let me say this. We gotta look at past as well. The Eagles are gonna play the Commanders in the first round. That's belt to ass. I'm sorry. They're not gonna win 2 out of 3 times this year. It's not a great matchup. It's probably gonna be a close game.
Them. Keep going.
But they're gonna beat them.
They're gonna beat them.
That next game, they're gonna play the Rams. The NFC South isn't gonna win. They're either going to play the Rams or they're going to play the Vikings. They're winning that game.
No, if you go matchup for matchup, Miller, y'all are going to win. Yeah,
but we're getting there, right?
Yes.
So then we play Detroit. It doesn't matter. They're too bad. They cannot stop us.
You're not going to beat. You're going to. Yes. So
when we get to that Super Bowl, how many yards did your Steelers have running on those guys yesterday on Christmas? About 200, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
Philly is as much as you want to say.
I was going to say this.
They are.
Chiefs.
Yes.
I 100%. They match up.
They match up better. They match up better with the Chiefs and have a better team.
I was about to say this.
Than they did their Super Bowl year.
They have a better team.
Far. They have a better team. They have a better defensive coordinator. I won't say better offensive coordinator.
Please don't make this mistake, Miller. And I know you're a
what
fan.
Mistake?
The quarterback on the other side.
The quarterback on the other side outplayed Patrick Mahomes in the only game they played.
He didn't win.
He outplayed him. He outplayed him.
Win. Patrick Mahomes been outplayed before. He doesn't lose.
No. Jalen Hurts.
Hold on.
What other quarterback can you say has outplayed Patrick Mahomes in a playoff game other than Joe Burrow? None. Jalen Hurts is outplayed.
I'm not gonna say outplayed, but you can say Josh Allen did it. You can say Josh Allen's right there with him.
Oh, okay.
But he didn't win.
Josh Allen doesn't have the team that Jalen Hurts has right now. Jalen Hurts, once again, has the best running back in football. Top 5 receiver in football. Another top 10 receiver in football. Best offensive line in football.
He has a better team.
Best defense in, which is why I'm getting. So don't tell me I'm making a mistake by picking the Eagles over the Chiefs.
I'm telling you you're making a mistake.
I'm not making a listen.
Please do not take anyone.
Better defensive
Don't
coordinator.
take anyone.
Vic Fangio, who coached for the Broncos for the longest time, is familiar with that defense. The Eagles are a better team than the Chiefs.
They're a better team. They're a better team. In your life, please do not ever, and you're going to see how this plays out. I promise you will.
No,
when the Chiefs
there's a difference.
When the Chiefs three-peat, but when this is over with, never take anyone over Mahomes until he's like,
this is
like
not,
a broadcaster.
No. The only team that has ever been better than the Chiefs. Do you know who I'm finna talk about?
Bro, who?
The Ravens last year. The Ravens have a quarterback that has religiously downplayed what he actually is in the regular season. That's why y'all lost. That's why you bring up the quarterback argument. Because because you're so scarred by your quarterback.
No. Mahomes has done it multiple times. He has 3 rings.
To your quarterback.
No, he has 3 rings against other quarterbacks, against Josh Allen, against Joe Burrow. He's beat everybody. He's beat Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts had a spectacular game.
He had a great game, but for some reason he didn't beat him. They just didn't beat him.
It wasn't because of Jalen Hurts.
I know, but Mahomes.
And was Saquon Barkley on that team?
Mahomes wins.
Was Saquon Barkley on that team? Was the defense anywhere near?
Both teams are different. No,
the Chiefs are worse than that year.
Okay.
You just said they're the greatest team.
Because they're about to have a 3-year dynasty. No one has ever done that.
You just said this your team was the greatest team you've ever seen. You just said that. You just said that.
They are the great.
You said that.
Hold on. Okay. They are the greatest team over a span of time ever. Yes.
Okay, so you're saying a 3-year span. I thought you were saying this year 15-1 was the best team you've ever seen.
The Eagles are the best team in football this year, and it's not close. And I have never been. You guys know I am usually skeptical about my team. This is the only year that I have ever felt like this. This defense is real. This last game against
last week.
The Commanders, they scored 36. We had 5 turnovers. 5 turnovers. Kenny Pickett couldn't move the ball. They got many possessions.
I'm not worried about that. Kenny Pickett, I'm not worried about.
So what are we worried about?
I'm worried about the fact that I get deja vu. You just mentioned it from that Ravens team last year with this Eagles team because Gavin talked about it all last year. It felt like in that game with the Chiefs.
They're better than last year.
But we're reaching,
guys. They're better than last year. Yeah, no, they're better than last. Bro.
No, but hold on. Last year you talked about Lamar Jackson, and you talked about it's like he knew he was being skepticized of passing, and they tried to pass the ball too much against the Chiefs.
This Eagles team is better than that Ravens team.
I agree. But if Jalen Hurts decides that he wants to make passing his focal point, playing the Chiefs, y'all will lose every single time.
Oh my gosh,
bro! Time out.
First off,
I'm gonna just put it to you like this. Last year's Ravens team, I'm not gonna lie, it kind of reminds me of this year's Bills, where it's one player centric, and that one player gets shut down, and you lose. That's why I like the Ravens this year, because if you shut down Lamar, we actually can still win.
Yeah,
that's why I like this team. That's why I don't like the Bills. So I don't even want to compare it that, because Jalen Hurts could play bad, and hypothetically, I don't know if they could beat the Chiefs and he plays bad.
No,
but he could. That's not my point. Is, bro. It has nothing to do with the Eagles. It's not a knock on the Eagles. Bro, I'm just going to take Mahomes, and history says that I'm right when I do that. When I take Mahomes, I win more than I lose.
It's a lame-ass take.
It's lame as hell, but it's been correct as hell. It's been correct as hell.
I'm betting against 15.
Now, what I will say, the team, I think y'all know the team that I think can beat the Eagles, the Green Bay Packers. That sleeper.
Yep.
The Green Bay Packers can beat any team in football.
Yep.
Because of their ceiling and because they have a great coach as well.
And quarterback. Quarterback.
And that's what I'm saying. But Jordan Love is a guy who in his first playoff performance was second last year.
Second.
Was atrocious. Was atrocious in a big game where there was he sold that game. He is the reason that the Packers didn't win. Jalen Hurts is the reason he goes out last week. We scored 21 points in the first quarter. Jalen, and the reason why I get this hyped up is because Jalen Hurts has easily become the most disrespected quarterback in football. And it's not close.
I thought the first one was Dallas. It
was Dallas, but that game wasn't any pressure because they was whooping them. That's Matt LaFleur putting the scheme
crying in the press
exactly. So in his first game of real playoff, real heated action, he threw up all over himself.
Yeah.
What I'm saying about Jalen Hurts and Matthew Stafford also, if he gets there, but like I said, I think they're too young defensively to really do anything this year. Jalen Hurts is someone that I can depend on. Saquon Barkley is someone I can depend on. That O-line is something I can depend on. That defense is something I can depend on.
I agree.
Huh? Who lost us a game?
Saquon, but I agree.
I mean, but I agree. Smitty did too. But if that's what we're gonna pick out, then that makes me even more. But confident.
Those two games, yes, I have y'all as the favorite. I have y'all making the Super Bowl, kind of in easy fashion. I could see y'all winning it. Once again, your take is not like mine's a lame ass take, but it's a correct ass take if we're going
not this year though.
But we'll see, and we will see.
This is our year,
and we will see.
This is my. Bro,
this is our year.
Make your statement. Pop it. Look, I respect it, y'all.
Can we?
You deserve to pop it.
I'm about to be such a hypocrite.
You deserve to pop it, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to be such a hypocrite with this, and I hate it. I hate it. Trust me, I hate it. But damn, how many teams could have beat the Chiefs this year? How many teams could have beat the Chiefs this year? And yes. some of it is the Chiefs being great, but some of it is kind of, and you have to admit, teams throwing up all over themselves. Broncos, we can't block a damn field goal.
They made a play.
And they made a play. They made a play.
But I'm not gonna lie. I think I wouldn't hate that one. I would hate like the Raiders one because the other team messed up. Not that the other team didn't mess up. But the Chiefs made a play.
No, the Raiders. I do hate the Raiders one. Yeah, like they made that mistake. That wasn't the Chiefs making a play. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. This team, it does feel like they are beatable, and that there's some. I don't know what it is with this team. I think it might be just.
No, I think they're beatable, and that's why. Once again, my take with the Eagles. I have y'all making it to the Super Bowl. I could easily see. I'm not gonna lie. I could see it becoming, especially if the Chiefs have. Because the Chiefs, weirdly, even Mahomes has gotten injured in the playoffs like 2 or 3 times in his career. He won Super Bowl when he got injured. He hurt his ankle really bad and ended up winning a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs have had injuries. I remember the O-line against Tom Brady. He just couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
So an injury or two, or maybe even not an injury. I could even see the Eagles doing what like Brady did to them and like kind of like taking the clutch part out of it.
Exactly.
Like just beating them.
That's my thing. I think we can win in dominant fashion against that team.
But it's boring as hell. It's the most. Once again, you deserve to pop it. Y'all have played well enough for you to pop it and say everything and say we're gonna kill every team we play and it's not even gonna be close. You have deserved that. But it's so boring. But I'm not gonna take. You know how I do. You know how I do my playoff picks.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10.
Best quarterback, best coach.
Best quarterback, best coach. They have both of them.
Yeah.
And once again, they've proven time and time they've won. Y'all have been there, so y'all have that on your side.
And by the way, Sirianni, I know he gets a lot of hate, but I've been bigger on Sirianni than definitely most people because I feel like he does at least embody what Philadelphia is, and I kind of value the dysfunction that we have. I kind of do because once again, it feels it's a weird take, but it feels authentic.
You value the dysfunction.
I do because when AJ Brown speaks up, only positive came out of that. You got to admit, only positive came out of that.
Everyone want to make a statement against the Steelers.
I guess so. But I just don't. I can't see where we're doubting the most winningest head coach of all time and a quarterback in his only 5th year as a starter, by the way, who only plays great in big moments. Who's
the winningest head coach?
Nick Sirianni is the winningest head coach in NFL history.
Like, just percentage?
Based on winning percentage, he's the winningest head coach.
Okay. I was going to say.
Why are we laughing at that?
No, because we thought you were saying like total games.
Yeah.
No. No, he has the highest winning percentage, and you can't just say that's because of a roster.
I'm not saying
you have to be a capable head coach to have
he's a capable head coach, but I will say he's in a great situation with organization.
But how long are we going to diminish his name and not put him with the higher-ups of coaches, though? Like, how can we disrespect the highest winning percentage coach of all time because he has a great O-line, Jalen Hurts?
All right, first of all, that shit's going to drop.
I hear that, but in these first, because I hear Jalen Hurts all the time isn't even a top 10 quarterback. I hear that. I hear our defense hasn't. But listen, our defense hasn't been the greatest. So what is it? Is it just O-line? Is that the only reason why Nick Sirianni wins football games?
I think Nick Sirianni is gonna have to do, and it's the same thing with Hurts, and it sucks.
I've seen Dan Campbell make more mistakes than Nick Sirianni. I'll throw that out there real quick.
But he's not a better coach, though. He's not a great coach than Dan Campbell. Like the culture building.
I think Dan Campbell has done more for the Lions.
Yeah, and I got Nick Sirianni.
But I don't think in a matchup Dan Campbell heavily outweighs Nick Sirianni.
No, I just don't think
two guys.
I just don't think that Nick Sirianni can do what Dan Campbell did in Detroit. Now,
I agree with that statement.
Yeah.
I think Dan Campbell was better for Detroit than Nick Sirianni. But as far as coach in the NFC, the best coach is easily Sean McVay or Matt LaFleur. If we're just going by
Sean
coach.
McVay. No, it's Sean McVay.
Yeah,
it's Sean McVay.
So I think with the Eagles, bro, I think this team, just because of the drama, has become severely underrated in a way where we're not really recognizing how dominant and how talented this team actually is from top to bottom, as far as DBs, linebackers, D-line, O-line, skill players, quarterback. This team, Jalen Hurts people don't understand how great of a scrambler he is. You talk about Lamar, we talk about Josh Allen, we even talk about Mahomes as a scrambler because of what he can do passing after the scramble. But we talk about him before we talk about Jalen Hurts as a scrambler.
I think we should.
When asked scrambling, that is an elite ability that he possesses that no other quarterback possesses because he can literally run through people.
But the one thing I will say is, and once again, it's sad that it's a media narrative because I get Jalen Hurts his props. I mean, other than Burrow, Lamar, Josh Allen, Mahomes,
and Herbert, I would say is better. I'll give Herbert his props.
I would say he's in that 6 to 7 range. He's 6, 7.
I think he's the 6th or 7th best quarterback.
I think he's the 6th.
Matthew Stafford and Hurts are that 6 and 7.
Exactly. I think he's 6 or 7 spot, and the only way he would move to 8 for me is if Jordan Love makes a damn.
He got it.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm scared of Jordan Love, bro. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I'm scared.
And the thing I'll say is, and it's sad. It's just a media narrative. Unless he goes all the way and just wins it all, because if he wins it all, you just put it to rest. Like, he's a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Put some respect on his name. But even if he makes Super Bowl and loses, he's gonna have to have a moment in his career, which will have to come later because he's in such a good organization, where he does same thing with the head coach as well, where he does more with less.
Yeah.
Where he elevates the people around him. But right now, there's a narrative, and I don't think it's unfair. I don't think Hurts should just receive hate for it either, though. But he does have Smitty. Like, I would love to see what, like, Hurts would do. And I'm not even going to compare it to Mahomes because, like, no one can do what Mahomes is doing. But, like, he's gonna have to like lose. For instance, if he lost AJ Brown. And they just traded Brown for like picks or something, or like, and like if Smitty was his number one, he was still getting it done. Then it's like, okay,
and I think people take when he doesn't have those guys, people take that way out of context because if you lose a guy, what quarterback does other than Mahomes? What quarterback looks good without his weapons?
Yeah,
like someone has to find that guy for me because I want that guy.
Just what Josh Allen and I know you. I'm saying guys that you have
ahead of Hurts, yeah.
So it's kind of a whatever argument, but. I think I would just want to see Hurts take. And once again, yeah, if it's in the middle of a season, yeah, but like what Josh Allen has done this year individually, and once again, it kind of sucks because I think Hurts, like I said, I got him at 6 or 7, but it's just a narrative thing because not to the Purdy level because we still watch Hurts and be like, oh yeah, that's a tough play, but the same reason people kind of weren't believers in Purdy is because like look at him. I mean, best running back, top 3 receiver, top 10 receiver, best O-line. Like, so you have all these things, and the media is like, well, how could he not be successful?
I'm
but you still need to deserve credit for winning games, which is hard to do in any pro league or collegiate
There are
league.
some guys in this league. I mean, bro, quarterback, like these guys are drafted high for a reason, bro. Like, there's a reason Purdy they shouldn't pay this guy the money. Like, you see the talent, whether it's second round. For Jalen Hurts compared to 7th round. You see, Jalen Hurts has been a superhero before. In that Super Bowl, he's played great, and he's had his moments as far as games where he's been a superhero. Matthew Stafford has been a superhero. Other than that, in the NFC, there's no other superhero quarterbacks in the AFC has 5 of them.
So let me ask you this. Do you think, and this is kind of a little random, a healthy 49ers with all their players back next year, go and sign
They can't do that, by the way. They can't do that, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah, well, they wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. Okay, but like let's just say they're in the condition they're at, and they go sign a Justin Fields. Do you think that changes him like crazy?
I think they would be better off going to get Justin Fields or Sam Darnold than keeping Brock Purdy for $53 million. And they get him back.
But I know, but they had Sam Darnold.
And they made a mistake giving him up.
They did.
My other thing is
Sam Darnold, I'm sorry, he's not a fraud.
I don't think he's a fraud either right now.
He's been in a horrible situation this whole career.
Yeah, and I think if he goes to, I think San Fran is gonna pick him up this offseason. I think that's gonna be the move. I think the Colts are also gonna look at Sam Darnold.
Though, because if you win 2 playoff games, you have to at least tag them. You have to.
Yeah, they do.
You win 2,
they do. But what are the Vikings gonna? Do they think JJ? Are they gonna bet on themselves and they're not gonna be able to disrespect? But Sam Darnold, I'm not putting it off of him that he's gonna have a bad playoff game.
Yeah,
and that can easily happen.
Yeah.
So we gotta wait to see because he could have done all of this for no reason. But
isn't there a world where they get the 1 seed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, dang, like you quarterback.
But even if he loses that game,
even if he loses, you got to look at it and be like, okay, we have a Randy Moss like talent, and he's looking the best with this quarterback.
But you also have to look at it as, okay, we've had at least a top 5 defense this whole year. We have a great running back. We did lose our left tackle, but we have a great O-line.
I think he's done after this year.
Who?
Like
Aaron Jones? He's not a great running back, but he's been above average this year.
Like I don't think you bring. What's his contract?
I don't know. No, he's done. He's chopped after this year. He gotta go.
Yeah.
But Addison and like you have a talented football team around this guy, and if you can't win, I don't think it should be treated as well. This was their first year, so I think it should be treated as you got to win this year. This is Super Bowl or bust for this team, even though it wasn't supposed to be.
Go to the Super Bowl.
Even though it wasn't supposed to be at the beginning of the year, we had this team finishing 4th in that division. But it should be Super Bowl and bust for this team because it's not a young team.
Yeah.
It's a team that was magically put together, and they have the coach of the year.
So I have one more thing. I have a question for both of y'all. There's a big thing going around right now, and I just want to know if y'all find this scary or y'all find this as an attest to Patrick Mahomes' clutchness and great coaching. There's a stat going around, if there was like a big standings thing of if every outcome of a single score game was flipped, what would the records be? And the Chiefs was like 6-10.
Yeah.
Like,
so that is so flawed because there has to be more. It's more impressive to me to win a game by 3 in this league, to win a game by 7, to win a game by 6, than to win by like 14. Like I think when you're constantly doing it, Colin Cowherd gave you the example. If you're all of a sudden finding a way to just get everything on earnings day and you consistently do it, you're not a fraud. Like it would be different if they had like a lot of losses and then they still had
I look at it different.
And it's not even this year. It's a 3-year run of when it comes crunch time, the other team might have a better roster or better players other than quarterback, and for some reason, Mahomes and Andy Reid get it done every time, whether it's damn cheating, whether it's the refs.
Look, I'll never blame the refs for their wins, but what I will say is, honestly, bro, I think this year has been completely aura for them. Like, just their aura has literally been beating teams.
Like, somewhat
because Lamar Jackson can't make that throw. Yes, he can. He did it against the Texans yesterday.
Or the Isaiah Likely, literally a toe out of bounds.
And that's what I do.
I do think some of it is luck. To win a champ, that's why I say the Eagles, that's the only reason I don't stamp them. You said the Chiefs are beatable. I agree. That's why I wouldn't stamp them, because any team has to have some form of luck. If you don't think Brady had luck, you're an idiot.
Yeah,
but if you don't think Mahomes has had luck,
you're
an idiot.
I'd rather be lucky than good, though. Like,
no. No, because I strongly do believe that
they're beatable.
Lamar Jackson, and I love Lamar Jackson so much, and I think he can do it. I would bet on him to do it this year.
Bro, I know I sound so biased, but this gives me vibes of the way Jason Tatum was like so, and I don't know if it's this year for Lamar, but I hope he gets it done one time before his career's over.
All he has to do it is one time.
If you do it one time. Because the thing is,
bro, Joe Burrow did it one time.
Jason, bro, I'm not gonna lie. If Jason Tatum, I hope he gets more. But if Jason Tatum, because he has good he has good playoff performances.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking about legendary player performances. Some records that might be held for like 20 more years.
Yeah.
So, like, I look at Jason Tatum. What if he just goes and averages 30 or 28 for 6-7 more years?
Yeah.
He can just hold his hat on the ring like Paul Pierce did and be better than Paul Pierce, though.
That's my Lamar Jackson only has to beat him once.
Lamar, if you win this one, you could be thrown in top 5 quarterback all-time conversation simply because of eye test, because you have the eye test. They're going to throw you. I think we're going to throw you over Dan Marino for best quarterback to never win a Super Bowl.
I don't even think it's Super Bowl or bust. I think it's make the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I think if you lose to the Eagles, that's fine. I think if you lose to the Packers.
Because if you get one Super Bowl, bro.
I think you got to beat the Packers, actually.
Bro, I'm not going to lie. Yeah. Bro, because if you win the Super Bowl, you just win one.
Yeah.
Is it fair to say that we would take him over Aaron Rodgers?
Ooh.
They both got a ring.
You couldn't be mad at him.
You couldn't be mad. That's my point. Like, you just get it done once.
I mean, I'll tell you all the time, I think Lamar Jackson is the most talented person to ever pick up a football.
If Josh Allen, not saying if he does it, but if the Steelers, like you said, if Josh Allen does it, I've said this for years to come. If just a different team could knock off Mahomes, just please someone do it.
I thought it was going to be Houston.
If just a different team could, and I think it could have been if they had everybody healthy, but
Tank Dell is a killer, bro.
Yeah, that's sad.
Tank Dell, and by the way, prayers up to Tank Dell.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to lie, I don't think people have realized the impact, and this is a very random take.
Yeah.
I don't think people have realized the impact that Tank Dell has had on certain young receivers as far as the way he moves and what he has. I know he has some training videos out there to where he moves, but receivers now, young receivers, people don't know this. They try to be Tank Dell. Tank Dell is one of those guys where people try to emulate who Tank Dell is. Yeah. And the fact that his first 2 seasons have been cut short, he might end up. I think he's already ending up in, like, I'll revert it back to basketball, like D Rose territory, where this Tank Dell is a special talent. I think he's a top 10 receiver talent in this league as far as ball carrying and route running goes. It's sad.
I hate to put this in the air, but like, he's done.
And it might.
No, he's done.
I'm not putting that in there at all.
It's sad, bro. Like,
why do you think? I don't think he's done though.
Bro, do you understand what
Marshawn Lattimore injury?
Yeah, like, do you remember Marshawn Lattimore?
Every single thing in his knee is.
Who's Marshawn Lattimore?
South Carolina, running back.
Oh my gosh, I do remember that actually.
Bro, like, what is it?
It's every single thing in your knee. Every ligament, every
ACL,
MCL, ACL, every alphabet,
PCL, TCL, CCL.
Like,
yeah, once again, prayers up to him.
It's sad.
God has his back because he's put in the time with God. But man, once again, really bummed me out when I saw it because they were competing with the Chiefs as well.
And that's why I told you when Stephon Diggs went down, I still don't think they could have beat the Chiefs because I talk about team superpower. Y'all superpower, I feel like, is the run game and defense. The run game and defense. No offense to Jalen Hurts, but it's the run game and defense. And he's a part of that run game.
Yeah.
I think with the problem with past Ravens teams has been the superpower has been Lamar. Because even though Zay Flowers is good, bro, it's still...
Y'all never had really great offensive talent.
So, but now you have Derrick Henry. Hopefully that changes something. But he still has never had a receiver that's like, wow.
Yeah.
Talk about the Bills this year. Their problem is they're too Josh Allen reliant. The Bengals, they're too Jamar Chase, Joe Burrow. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
it. Literally it. T. Higgins sometimes.
Yeah. But who were we just talking about? My fault.
Dang, I lost him too.
Oh, the Texans.
Oh yeah.
Their superpower was their receiving core before the year. We talked about it, like Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Stephon Diggs. Like there's no better receiving core, and there wasn't. To start the season, you had Nico's number 1 in the league,
and they beat the Bills.
They beat some good teams. Thing about the Bills, bro. They lose to the Ravens. They lose
they got stomped by the Texans, even though the score didn't look like it.
Texans, and they got
he threw 9 for 30.
And they got stomped by the Ravens. And the thing is, bro. It's really just the Chiefs, because if they lost to the Chiefs, then what are we really talking about with Josh Allen?
They beat the Chiefs every year in the regular season, too.
Yeah.
Like, why are we acting like this year is so...
And once again, let's put it to
Stephon Diggs has suddenly become underrated. Like that. Like he's probably the reason they lost last year. I'm not going to lie, Stephon Diggs, but that dude is the goods, bro. Like, he's better than Amari Cooper still to this day. Like, that's a big loss, and their offense has taken a step back, in my opinion, because of Stephon Diggs' loss.
And the thing about it is, like, let's just look at scenarios. Let's look at vibes. Let's look at, like, the aura you talked about, the vibes. That was the Bills' Super Bowl. Like, it's in the Bill. It's in
Buffalo.
It's in Buffalo. It is the biggest game. Like, the fans are going crazy, and the Chiefs are, like, they're undefeated. They're due for a loss. They hadn't lost in how many games?
It was 11. I think they were 9 or 11-0 at some point.
Count the year before as well.
Like 15 straight.
Yeah, like, it was a crazy streak. So you have that going. Like, it's in Buffalo. You really think they're gonna go?
How do you feel about Buffalo, by the way? Is it the same?
And by the way, I just want to say this: Sean McDermott.
If he don't win a Super Bowl, he got to go.
I was about to say, we talk about, like, bro, he's time and score and, like, end of game.
It sucks. It's so bad.
So bad. The way I watched him against the Texans this year, pass 3 straight times and then punt, and then they go just kick it. Like, if you'd have just ran the ball and run with Josh out, like, or maybe a shorter pass, you just do 3 straight deep balls. He lost in that game.
Yeah.
You know how I feel about the defensive coverage, and he's a defensive head coach against the Chiefs with 13 seconds left.
Yeah.
Like, it's just sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, keep going.
Dude, I think they're better. I think they're going to be better. And this is why I think that. I think Cooper, don't get me wrong, I completely agree with you. Diggs is better. But I think James Cook's uprising this year
Good point.
outweighs that difference between those two. And I think they're a much better running football team this year.
And I agree. They run the ball better, which has helped Josh Allen. But, bro, do you see a world where they go into Arrowhead? Like, do we know how crazy Arrowhead is? Do you see a world where he goes in Arrowhead, home field for Mahomes? By the way, Mahomes, who has been injured, whatever, or anyone who's injured, they get what, a week or 2 off to chill.
26 days.
And I understand about the week off could hurt certain teams, but it's not hurting them. It's not hurting the Chiefs.
They've done it before.
I don't see a world where they even play Baltimore anywhere. They could play in the Sahara Desert. They could play in the Amazon jungle. I think the Ravens is whooping that ass 10 times out of 10. I'm gonna be real. I just the Bills aura right now is just it's literally like I can't even explain it. But if the Ravens do meet up with them again,
bro,
are you picking the Bills?
Yeah, 100%. And the only reason I say that is because I don't want to bet against Josh, and I'm not going to. I know this isn't. You can't use this as an MVP. Y'all heard about the report about him playing with a broken hand for the first 10. Like, you got to think this guy was basically playing with one arm for.
Bro,
how much better could it get though? Like Josh Allen. This is not about Josh Allen
playing with a broken hand, bro. I'm not gonna lie, and I also hate when athletes and media narratives do that. Like, I
I hate to say it, bro. You played.
Yeah.
You played. You decided to play on the field. So whatever you put out on the field, I'm gonna judge it off that. I'm not gonna sit here.
It was pretty.
It's been a good product.
I'm not-
But that's my point. How much better does he get? I mean, he's
It's
still a
pretty good,
superhero.
but it's pretty good. But it other than the Chiefs, he tends to get. I mean, Texans smacked them. We're literally talking about the Ravens. We're talking about they played the Ravens. What out of that Ravens game makes you think that they would go and then beat the Ravens? And Lamar's having a better year than him if we're just going statistically. And our defense is stepping it up. Just finding a way. We have a better run game. We have better receivers.
They can step up all they want. I don't see a world where Josh Allen doesn't absolutely obliterate your Lions defense. I don't see
the Ravens defense?
He didn't.
Yes.
He didn't do it.
He didn't obliterate them when their defense was bad.
Yeah.
No,
when our defense was bad, he literally didn't do it.
But I'm not judging him off of what it was in the first, 6 weeks of the season. I'm judging him off of what he is. I'm judging these teams off of what they are now. If we judge the Texans,
but that was their first loss.
Okay, but what I'm saying is I'm judging these teams off now. If
we're judging off now, they've struggled against
They've struggled defensively the last 4 weeks.
Yeah.
But who's carrying them over the hump? That's what I'm saying is I don't think like
Josh Allen really struggled against the Patriots.
Okay, but again, they got over the hump. Like I'm saying, it's the same. It's the same argument we keep making with the Chiefs.
Get over the hump.
The Chiefs keep getting over the hump.
No,
no. That's not the same argument. They didn't get over the hump against the Rams. The Rams are not.
Rams are a good team.
They're not a top.
They're a good team. They're not
a top.
We've talked about this. I think they have.
They're not a top 16 in the league. They're not a top 16 in the league.
Okay, but chill. We can keep arguing about this for a minute.
They're not.
I think they have arguably a top 3 receiving duo in the league.
Who?
The Rams.
Arguably.
Yeah.
Arguably.
Okay. Yeah. That's
very arguable.
And their running back arguably is top. Like he's one of the best right now.
Arguably. But if you look at their schedule, other than the Chiefs, the best teams they have played.
Why aren't they
the Rams?
Are the Rams lost?
They played the Bills.
They played.
I'm talking about the Rams.
They played the Ravens.
Okay.
Lost.
I'm talking about the Bills. Right?
Okay.
I'm talking about the Bills.
Okay. They played the Ravens. They lost.
Obliterated.
They played the Texans.
Lost.
So that's the 3 best teams they played. They played the Lions as well, who are a great team. They gave up 42 to the Lions, and the Lions have a depleted defense. And they scored 48. So congrats on that win. You were bound to win another big game. I don't really take that much from that game. The Bills have become
and don't say they're getting over the hump because of their big games that he just said. You're 2-3.
But that game that we're talking about, the Lions-Bills, wasn't as close as that score says. Like that was a blowout.
What you mean it wasn't that close?
That was a blowout that ended up with a couple late scores.
They were down a touchdown that entire game.
Yeah.
Not the entire game.
Yes.
Like maybe 10 points.
Yeah, it was never more than 2 possessions.
It was 14. I think it was like 21.
It was never more than 2 possessions.
The Bills were never out of control that game, in my opinion.
Okay, I do agree, but like I said, they're still giving up 42 points.
Yeah, they're getting killed when they play good teams.
But I'm not worried about Josh Allen winning a shootout right now. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, that's a take that I can give. That's the only thing you have said this entire time about the Bills. If you have that much confidence in Josh Allen, so be it. Because I have that much confidence in Josh Allen. I have so little confidence in the rest of that organization, not just players. Sean McDermott included.
Yes.
I have that little confidence in that squad, and honestly, who that organization is, what the history of that organization has represented. That's why I don't believe in the Bills. That's the same reason why you don't believe in teams like the Bears, the Jets, the Patriots, the Giants, teams like the Raiders.
The Colts.
That's the same reason you don't believe in teams like that, is because they've never shown you that they were going to do anything different. The Jets haven't been good in my entire life.
Yeah.
My entire life. So why should I believe the Bills are just going to somehow get over? This is where we talk about history. History matters.
It does. It matters, and that's why I got my Mahomes take. That's boring as hell.
Yeah.
You said it's boring as hell. My Mahomes take. I mean, just think about it. What am I? If I just bet Mahomes Super Bowl every year since he's been a starter, what would I be?
50%. That's good shooting percentage.
So
I'm shooting good.
Yeah, you're the football guy. The Lions. I know their coach is like put on a crazy display of like plays this season.
I'm glad you brought this up.
Or is he showing it too early in the regular season, or does he have more?
So I think he has more. First off, I mean, who would have thought you would have did a tripping play? Well, first off, I'm not worried about that.
Tripping play. Also, the fact that his linemen have more touchdowns than
I think he was showing off for that.
Exactly.
He did that against the Bears. I think he was showing off for that job.
And Dan
you think he was showing off for that job?
He was. And Dan Campbell, I think, has gotten a little bit too much hate, honestly, for the decisions he's made. So he got so much flack, and Nick Wright and Colin Cowherd love to pick on things like you guys are not the underdog anymore. You can't, bro. The Lions are the Lions. Let the Lions be the Lions.
Their
I
recipe.
love their coach.
That's their recipe for success. Don't go
Howard's
away
the one
from
that told LeBron to step aside for Ben Simmons, right?
Yeah. Get out of here. So the onside kick, I thought that was smart because you're down 10. In your mind right now, you're thinking, okay, let's hold him to a field goal because now it could still be 2 possessions and we get the ball back sooner.
Yeah.
I like that choice. I liked every single choice in the Green Bay game where he went for it 5 times, except for the one where he what was it? The last one that they got, that they converted on.
And
I hated that call, by the way.
I'll let you get right back to that, but like I also think that I hate the take of people say, well, he doesn't trust the defense. Well, there are some games where it's just not going their way. Like circumstantially, okay, I can't trust my defense this day. It's not are they in trouble? We can't trust them this day.
Exactly.
And I think that decision is circumstantial, was based on the circumstances, and I think it was on that day, he was completely right. But I don't think it's an overall problem. I think you know it. Sometimes your defense, sometimes your offense, it just doesn't show up.
I like, bro, my least favorite thing with coaches are the coaches that go with the math. Hey, if I make this decision on 4th down, there's a 53% percentage on 4th and 4, and I'm gonna get a first. Shut your ass up. If you up 7, punt the football. Like it's not hard to figure out. And Dan Campbell is that. Dan Campbell is like, okay, let's think about this. It's a pretty easy thought process.
4th and 15.
My players are better than your players.
And we have a yard to get.
So if I go for it with a yard, I can probably get this yard. That's how Dan Campbell thinks, and that's the way football coaches should think. So I think the scheme of how Dan Campbell has handled things has been also misconstrued. I think he's fine. I think that the only thing wrong with that organization right now is defensive injuries, like y'all said.
Yeah, and the thing about also Dan Campbell is like, if it's a recipe for success, why would you just all of a sudden, because we're not the underdog anymore, let's go away from the reason I turned this thing around in the first place.
Literally, that's the dumbest logic.
We're no longer the underdog, and we're a winning team. Now, we're 10 and 2. All right. Forget what we did to get here.
Yeah.
Let's play how everybody else is playing.
Let's start kicking field goals on 4th and 1, even though I got Penei Sewell in the best offensive line and David Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs. All right, they've been disrespected, but I think that's been enough for this video. I think we've
good video.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.